We will overcome, so bring it on. Kim took time out in a busy schedule to compile a letter this week, and it's targeted at very specific targets because we are breaking down the barriers. There's still certain walls that are put up here, but we've said all along, America's the battlefield. Once that battle has been won, so is the war. And it's only a very few that are holding pretty much everything up now. And a lot of it's down to a lack of knowledge and a lack of awareness and a lack of understanding. They think they should know about what's going on. They have no idea. So Kim wrote this for them. It went onto Tank's blog because that blog goes into the RV world. It goes into the clown realms and the dark web, where they all reside. So this letter is for them, for those who are not awake. That was written by Kim, and those who are not aware. This has to be said. The system, no, not a computer system, the system. The system I speak of is one of slavery, one of abuse, one of total control over humanity. This is for you, the slave masters. The slaves, the ones who are fighting to protect the system. Do you actually know what you are trying to protect? Do you know who is running this flawed system? The system is broken. It has been slowly breaking down for the last 2 years. It is breaking not because of us, so they're blaming the trust for everything, the awake and aware. It's breaking because it's severely flawed. You are missing it. It was never a sustainable system. It was always meant to break. The non-compete plan, the harvest, the order, does not have a plan. They are dependent solely on you, the slave masters. The people fighting to protect the system, to create. Create what? May you ask. What are you creating? To create a plan to preserve the system of slavery they covet so dear. Why do they need you, slaves? Because they are not the creators of the universe. They are not the thinkers on this planet. They have always been people herders, slave masters, if you will. The thinkers have left them, and now all they have is you. So you fight every day to preserve the broken down system without a second thought. Diligently killing people, raping children, stealing money and resources for the masters you all believe in. But why do you believe in them? Is it a cycle of abuse? Stockholm Syndrome? Come on, people that work for them. Hadn't you noticed you are running around spending your own time, your own money, carrying out plans that you created? Have you not noticed it's not working? You are essentially plugging the Hoover Dam with bubblegum and the dam is bursting. There are no sides in this war. There's only what is real and what is not. And you are fighting to protect that which is a fantasy while we are fighting for what is real. Let me explain. The deep state, we all know who these people are. The ones who are making a very futile attempt to control governments, to control financial systems. They're in every country. Your central bank governors, your various officials who will fight to protect the slave masters' control over the people. Why do they need you? And by you, I mean the central bank governors who take the calls and the promises of billions of dollars to keep their country broke and on its knees. Some of you work for the agencies, the IMF, the World Bank, mercenary groups, Parliament and Congress. Do you actually know what you are fighting for? You know you are trying to destroy people going against the system, going against their way of life. I'll have more on that later. You are mistaken. This is not correct. The system was designed to break down by 2017, to set to self-destruct. As for me, Kim, I am logical. I know when something goes down, something else will always take its place. Are we fighting you? No. We have disregarded your failed attempts to preserve something which is already gone. We are implementing a new system which is based on the creative thinking of humanity, the sovereignty of nations, a way of life based on the theory people are creators. Given the opportunity, they will and can create a harmonious nation and harmony between nations. 99% of all wars were fabricated. They made you believe are real. False intel, false flags, fake media, false financial hardships, just to keep you enslaved in their fatally flawed system. They brand products on our television to keep us hopelessly dependent on their debt-based system of created currencies that have no real value other than the one they place it on. Send us messages on fake news to make us believe these are the bad people, those are the bad people. But you have to wake up. The system is broken. It will not continue even if we, humanity, do nothing. But we, humanity, need to put something else in its place before it's too late. The order. These people run around giving orders to you, the enslaved ones, who you follow blindly. You do not realize these people were never the order makers. They did not create the plan. And most certainly they did not create the system. Please stop calling them benevolent or gods or kings or masters. Well, the term master may have been correct. They were the slave masters of humanity, promising you week in and week out billions of dollars or whatever currency to save humanity. Never arrived. No intentions of. They claim to be humanitarians, but hold on. Then they say it's not time yet, just wait. To which you respond, okay, master. Just so you, the creative beings of this universe, do nothing. Do you actually know what you are saying? You are blindly following people which you are calling master. And for what? What did they do? When did they have control over the money and the resources of the world? Nothing. Did they feed the poor? No. Did they feed the nations? No. Stop war? No. Crime? No. Promoted it. The masters. They fed us poison. They salted the earth so we could only eat their poison. They created wars to make them money. They stole from us and raped our children. They created terrorist organisations to keep us in fear. They created diseases and treatments that slowly killed our loved ones. So we would take more of their poison, believing their disease was medicine. I am talking about your dragon families, Rothschilds, the Nazis, the Chinese elders. Yes, you are reading this, the slaves that follow them all so blindly. Why, oh why, do you still follow? Why do you call these people master and follow so blindly when their system is flawed? The system is broken. There must be a new system to take its place. And they all have no clue. None. Humanity will not tolerate a system of control anymore. They created the internet. They created the smartphones. And people all over the world understand the system is broken. It's too late. The entire world will never follow a flawed system. The majority will not follow. So they say they will kill us all, leaving only their followers. Again, flawed. It failed. You have been feeding us poison and disease for so long now. We are immune. Oops. That's right. You unknowingly created our solution while feeding your insanity. The corporates, the non-compete plan, 70 years of planning, you say, explain the control structure of every industry in the world. The Majestic 12 and the SS small p were fed technology to disperse to the masses. Yep. The very creations they sell to us have created their own downfall. Yes, they may still feed us poison. They still feed us their flawed, hopelessly antiquated tech. But what happened? Like a virus that mutates itself to become immune to antibiotics, which are designed to treat humanity, has mutated to overcome these fatally flawed corporate controls. We use your smartphones, your internet, your social networks to communicate with each other. This has created portals to realise the branding coming from your corporates, your drug companies, your Council on Foreign Relations, your United Nations is not real. We talk to people in the countries you call the bad guys, the boogeymen. We have computer systems that provide us with proper intelligence information. And now, no, you're all full of it. We fly in your planes, we travel in your cars, we shake hands with each other in nations all over the world now. Didn't you realise what we were doing? Oops. You have hit the precipice, the peak, and now we're on the other side. Your methods of control are broken by the very technology you fed us. It's all over. Did you actually think they provided you with military technology that had any hope of defending yourselves in a real war? Nope. Absolutely not. As the SS small p found out recently, as you know. As those goons in Norfolk, Virginia found out. The tech you have is way behind. Oh dear. They gave you this tech and all you could think about was money, money and more money. They fed you your own demise. They gave us the tools to our freedom. Now it's too late. The system is broken, the system is dead, and you are fighting to revive a dead horse. But it's all over. Your greed and ego have been your own downfall. President Trump is aware of what we're saying. So is President Putin. Many African heads of state are also aware. Many South American heads of state are also aware and on board. Many agency people around the world are now also aware. Even the History Channel reports it. But when will you wake up? Final note. The system is broken. It will not come back. A new system is forming. It is being created, whether or not we participate. When something goes down, something else will come up. That is nature. What will you choose? You can sit and just wait for your slave masters, or you can become your own master and participate. You can continue to try and kill all that refuse to follow the crumbling remains of a flawed system, or realise there is no system and follow reality. That reality is not coming. It's already here. Choose wisely. Kim. Let our people go indeed. I hope you all enjoyed that. And it gives you an idea of how far we've come and how close we are to the external change. The internal is largely won. But one point I want to bring up out of that piece is I'm aware of what got said, or what has been said, or what was relayed to us recently, the past week or so. And the statement was, we the trust are ruining their way of life. Really? We are ruining their way of life. You have ruined billions of lives over many centuries and currently have no intention of stopping doing that. You have ruined and raped this planet and all living beings, humans or otherwise. And in essence, you ruined your own way of life as you lost touch with reality. But please don't play the violin act with us, stating we are ruining your way of life. As I'm sure I speak on behalf of all humanity when I say this, go and fuck yourselves. Ruining your way of life indeed. Never been such bollocks in all my life. It's not life what you advocate. It's death and destruction. We're going to turn it round, and we are. And you know we are. And no matter how many blocks or threats you put up or initiate, you won't stop it. Tide's turned. The timeline has changed, and the tide has turned. And that's why everything they do will fail. I've repeated it often enough in Cosmic Voice and throughout THI. It failed. They are in charge of, or in control of, their own illusion now. They still haven't worked out, as Kim pointed out. 1, that they themselves are slaves. 2, the timeline altered and the looking glass technology no longer works for them. And no amount of hacking and fiddling and messing will bring it back. Not for your benefit anyway. No matter how many ways they try to kill us all en masse, they all fail and will continue to do so. That project had to be completed before 2012 with a minor alteration of 2017. They both failed. 4, your egos, badges and titles keep you occupied in their own levels of self-importance, whilst they take the piss out of you and us. 5, you are tasked with chasing gold at the end of the rainbow, only to find there is no end. As like the RV, it's always coming, except it never arrives. It wasn't there to begin with. All illusion. And 6, your role is a pointless exercise of spectacular levels of stupidity. Now, I don't believe for 1 minute all of you are stupid people. Well, come on. When does the hello McFly kick in? How far do you have to go? How many more failures are you going to take and see and witness before you realise it's game over. You've been chasing and waiting for fake Chinese elders now for well over a decade. And what's worse, you are taking orders from the same fake entities. All of the vast resources you have at your disposal, and none of you, not one of you, can locate a single Chinese elder. Can't do a cross-check of where their funds are, or validate whether their funds are even real. Have you not worked out yet why, in the past 11 years, none of their codes to the system have ever worked? Zero, none. Or assess whether the 500 years or more global GDP required for an RV payout actually exists for real. Or whether that volume of funds added into the current debt-based system would last longer than the first 60 seconds of it being entered, and the whole banking system right round the world would collapse, including your payouts. Well, have you? And if not, why? Is it threats? A threat is a national security issue. Coalesce and deal with it. It's what you are paid for. Show some backbone in your life for once and deal with the threats. Is it incompetence that you haven't bothered checking the last list? Because if it is, you should stand down. And we can get people in who are actually interested in looking after America, not the bloody United States. We're not the United States. That's their system, not ours. The military and the Pentagon people, the badges you proudly wear, are a symbol of your own stupidity, ego and loss of reality. If you want badges, we can give you loads of badges. But you have to save people, protect people, not kill or destroy them. Who decided it was an honourable thing to wear badges for killing your fellow man? The system did, and you bought into it. Taught a whole nation to buy into it also. Badges are for followers of the program. A program you are incapable of seeing, feeling or sensing. Back then, ignorance was a choice. Now it's your own trigger. And figuratively speaking, a slow death of you. And to be clear, the system will see to that, not us. We come in peace always, not in violence. Kissinger told you all the truth years ago, and you all still carried on with your badges of dishonour. But we will survive and thrive with or without you. You can count on that. But we would like as many people out of the coma as possible, all helping, not destroying. I know many of you have a fear of being exposed for crimes committed, but if it fits the purpose, except those who have been abusing children in the various programs, or mutually agreed levels of crime, you can always arrange an executive order for a full disclaimer in return for full disclosure, providing those who committed crimes largely under orders, we are aware, have much reduced salaries and benefits, have a bulk of their assets put back into the trust for disbursement back to the people, and work extensively to fix and correct the multitude of problems the world faces. I see no point in vast resources wasted on vacuous snake oil lawyers and their maritime law harvesting system, all being played out to obeying public who by and large have ignored all the issues. We in the alternative community have presented much. They ignored. You did. Not to mention the insidious script readers you call news, all blathering on 24/7, acting like they didn't know. We don't have the time for that nonsense, in my opinion. Now, some people may not like that idea, and I do get that. But we don't have the time for that level of hearings, investigations, debates, court time. Christ, it's taken over 18 months to decide whether the Russians colluded in the last election, and we're only a week away from the next one. We have to remember as well, all of us have participated in some way or other in this stupid game of programs and systems. We have all ignored the issues for too long. I remember many in the UK and America all wooing and fist pumping at the shock and awe taking place in Iraq, celebrating the unfolding genocide on Iraqi people and their homes with no fucking clue as to why they were being bombed. None. So we can't all be sanctimonious about it and say it was all them, because we, as well, for too long, went along with it far too easily, in my opinion. Time for some new ideas and new badges for saving the people, then the country, and then onto the world in a global collective of all nations. Not one falsely created so-called superpower designated to be used and abused as the world's global bully. We the people have had enough of that shit. Sacrificing our sons and daughters, sacrificing our finances, businesses, jobs, and sacrificing our reputations. All because some Rothschildian family, fake Chinese elders, bankers, the Vatican, or some order decided to make their sacrifices to their psychotic gods. Why follow when you can lead? Because let me assure you, in regards for those entities I've just mentioned, their days are numbered low. Their time is up. Their reign of terror is ending. Their reign of control has already gone. Only illusion, threats and false flags are left for them now. They couldn't even win a one-horse race election here in 2016, remember? And here you are, 2 years later, dancing like puppets to their failed tune, failed programme and failed system. Wouldn't it be great if we all got together, a high-level UN-style meeting with all the nations and the trust, where we will present the full evidence of their total nonsense and full proof of evidence of what the trust has, can deliver and what we are willing to do. An opportunity to show full proof we are ready to roll out everything we have promised with full transparency. Should such a meeting take place, many would leave that meeting aghast at the depth of what has took place, staggered in its entirety, staggered at how so few knew. And I have to make it clear, it was not all your fault. All of this was compartmentalised into oblivion. You would leave in a general disbelief that it went this far, and all learn how close we all came to a total annihilation of all the people and this planet. All cards would be laid out on a table for real, with a clear path forward for all those attending, but also a drive to correct all the ills around the world and drive this planet onto a new path. We say, bring it on, and let's get this done. Their programme and their system failed. Let's all work together to create a new one that doesn't pander to the few but encompasses the all, where we can all work together and work towards bringing peace and harmony for the all. We have much to do to build that new platform. It will be achieved quicker by us all working together. So let's get this meeting rolling. We welcome you with open arms, and it will represent an opportunity to wipe the slate clean and for all of us to move forward and move as one. This has been the Truth, Honour and Integrity Show. Bye for now.